Thank you for purchasing a SKYMO adjustable radio mount. This video is going to be a getting started guide so you can see exactly what comes in this box and how it all goes together so you can get your radio mounted in your vehicle. I do want to mention that you will need a few tools to complete this installation. So number one is a 1/2 inch socket and ratchet. You'll need a 3/8 inch wrench or an adjustable wrench, just something to hold a nut, and then a Phillips head screwdriver. You'll also need your radio, and importantly, you'll need the bracket that came with your radio as well. Now, sometimes these brackets are sold separately, but most mobile radios come with this style of kind of U-shaped bracket, and that's what we're going to use to mount the radio to the adjustable radio mount. So with all that being said, let's crack this open and we'll take a look inside the box. So you can see that we have the mounting plate piece, we have the cup holder piece, we have an insert piece back here, we have a box with hardware, and we have a mounting plate. And I'll get to how exactly all this stuff works as we go through the video. But for now, let me get all this unwrapped and we can take a look at what these parts actually look like. So here are all the different components unwrapped so you can take a look at everything that comes in the box. So at a high level, what we're going to be doing is using these bolts to secure these two pieces together like so, and that's what's going to create the clamping force that holds this in place. This is the mounting plate. This is what your radio bracket is going to be installed on. That is going to attach into one of these 3 sets of holes here. You have a little bit of height adjustability, so you can choose where you want your radio to be sitting height-wise. You will use this hardware pack with the 2 square nuts, the 2 button head cap screws, and the 2 washers to secure the mounting plate to this piece. When you go to secure your radio bracket to the mounting plate, you will use this hardware pack to secure your radio bracket to this metal mounting plate. This piece here that was labeled as the cup holder piece, it's curved to accommodate a cup holder, but not everyone is actually installing this into a cup holder. Some people install it on a flat surface, and that is what this insert is for. You can place this here, and then when you go to clamp this in place, it creates a flatter surface here just so you have more surface area contacting the surface that you're clamping to. Most people will not use this, but we do include it just to cover more use cases. Similarly, not everyone is going to use these pieces of grip tape here, but you can utilize them if you want to give your plastic parts here a bit more grip when they're clamping down. This larger one is made for this piece. These smaller ones are made for the insert and the cup holder piece. The alcohol wipe is provided so you can clean the plastic surfaces before applying the grip tape. Now you may be wondering why we have 4 different sets of bolts over here, and that's because when these 2 pieces are tightened together, the bolt will be going through it like so. Now if you use a bolt that is too long, it may stick out the backside of the mount. So we provide 4 different bolt lengths here, anywhere from 2.5 up to 4 inches in 1/2 inch increments. So you can choose the length that will conceal as much of that bolt as possible. We'll see a little bit more about how that works as we go through the installation process. The 5/16 inch washers just go with whatever set of bolts you choose to use, and this can be used with the button head cap screws, the Allen wrench, to tighten those down. So that pretty much covers what all these components are. So let's go ahead and start with the installation process. The best way to start is with this mounting plate piece and the mounting plate itself, and we're just going to get this in place here. So let's open up this hardware pack, and for demonstration purposes I'm just going to place this in the center position. So on the back side we can place our square nuts in there, and then we'll use the rest of the hardware to secure this in place. Okay, so that is nice and tight and in place. The next thing I'd recommend doing is actually installing your radio's bracket onto the mounting plate. So I'm going to remove this from the radio and we'll get this in place. To do that, you'll need this hardware pack with the number 10 hardware in it. And that's where the Phillips head screwdriver and your wrench is going to come in handy. After those 2 things are in place, you can now decide whether or not you want to use this grip tape. I am going to install it on here just for the sake of demonstration purposes. We're going to start with the alcohol wipe, And we just want to wipe down this surface and get any debris and oils from our fingers and all that kind of stuff off of here. And once that isopropyl has a chance to dry, there are guide marks on each of these parts for where you can place your grip tape. So I just use those guide marks and press that right into place. And now you'll just have a little non-abrasive grip tape surface here to help hold this in place. There's also one provided for the insert piece if you are going to use that. The next step that we can do is to actually decide what size bolts we want to use. So let me drag this console over here and you can see where exactly we're going to be installing it. Okay, I'm going to do my best to do this in such a way that you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just going to hold this in place and kind of approximate. Yeah, so it looks like this one's going to be too long. This one might also be too long. This one looks like it could work. Let's try this. These bolts are 3 inches long. We'll try that first. So let's grab these 3-inch bolts. I'm going to run them through the washers, get them started in here. All right, so this is how this whole assembly should look at this point. You have your mounting plate secured to the plastic part. You have your radio bracket on the mounting plate, and then we have our two 5/16 bolts of the chosen length installed in here. And we're just going to run those into the cup holder piece, and then we'll get these started. And hopefully those will be long enough to catch those threads. It feels like they are. If they are not, if you find that the bolts you chose were too short, you can always go and get the next size up. So I'm going to tighten this down, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, I'm happy with how that feels on the console. It feels like a nice, secure fit. And so the next step is going to be to just install your radio. We'll hold it in place. And that's it. There you are. Your radio is securely in place. The adjustable mount is secured to the console, and you're good to go. That is your installation process from unboxing all the way to getting your radio installed in your vehicle. One thing I do want to note before I sign off here is that you can probably tell that the mounting plate sticks out beyond this radio, and that's because this radio is a little bit on the smaller side, but the mounting plate is sized to fit larger radios as well. There will be a dimensions diagram on the product page for this adjustable radio mount, so if you'd like, you can verify that the holes in your radio's bracket will fit the slots in the mounting plate. And I really want to say thank you for purchasing one. Thank you for supporting SKYMO Radio Gear Company. If you have any questions about this installation process or anything else, you can contact us, support@skymo.com, or leave a comment on this video. I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks for watching.